instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. Well, welcome everybody to the Flagstick Podcast. I am Jeff Botter, and this guy here is Scott McLeod. The Flagstick Podcast this week brought to you by the Canadian Pro Shop Online. With amazing prices on all the latest brand name golf equipment, all in one convenient location online. It's never been easier to upgrade your game, whether it's drivers, irons, putters, or whatever your golf game needs. The Canadian Pro Shop Online has the best gear to help you play your best golf. Shop online today at CanadianProShopOnline.com. Just before we get going, as always, make sure you're following us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. Subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts for now, Apple Podcasts, and we also really encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like us, click the notification bell, and make sure you never miss a single episode of this or anything else that we put up there. Scotty Mac.
Yeah, been a while.
Episode 58. Episode
58. Yeah,
it's kind of like a little sitcom there. Episode 58.
Yeah,
you don't
we
want to
recorded
miss the drama.
early last week, so it's been a little bit longer between takes. I was on the road for a little bit to a couple of different destinations, and we'll get to that in a little bit as we discuss what we're going to get to in the back nine. But good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Weather has changed. Oh boy, since our last podcast.
It's shifted. My yard is full of leaves, which I need to get out of there, but it is so wet. So wet. You're supposed to say, how wet is it?
How wet is it, Jeffrey?
So wet that the leaves are stuck to the ground like they are covered in crazy glue. They will not come up with the leaf blower. Putting the lawnmower out there is a bad idea.
Your wife is not listening. This is not your excuse for why you're not cleaning up the yard.
Hey, normally the yard cleanup is not my responsibility. That lies on the at the feet of my youngest Brandon, but he's still recovering from his surgery, so he's not allowed to do it. So I'm supposed to do it. But I get the hairy eyeball from him pretty much every day as to why I'm not maintaining the chipping green and the tee decks,
the
light. So I think he's allowed to cut the grass now. So he's back.
We'll get him on it.
He's back on yard. Well, maybe once we get rid of some of the wetness out there, then we can get at it. But
it's hard to believe how much is flipped. Holy moly! I mean, it just it went.
I don't know if
really
there's another
nice
flip on the horizon, but
well, let's hope so. In the good way, in a positive way.
Yeah, let's flip it over, get a little bit warmer, some sunshine out there for at least another, let's say 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit coming, a little bit of bump in temperature for those that don't know. We're in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So obviously, winter is impending, but we've still got some fall left here. But yeah, I think some temperatures are going to go up a little bit. I hope so. I've still got 2 fall scrambles to play in, so I'm hoping not to freeze to death, although I was a little cool playing golf the other day. But
I have to comment, those watching on YouTube, and there are those that do watch on YouTube, that I know, we want to promote things, but man, that logo on your hat is huge. That's like having a big forehead, man. That thing is a massive logo.
Yeah, I'm sure Kevin Thistle and Gord Percy from the PGA Canada. I did run into Gord last week, by the way, down in Nova Scotia. I don't see him all year. He's, obviously he's the GM, head professional at Smith Falls Golf Club, but as the president of the PGA of Canada, I did run into him down at their RBC PGA Scramble. But yes, branding. Large, which branding?
I'm all for branding.
We're going to talk about branding in the back half for sure.
We are.
And it's definitely not a subtle logo.
Now, is that one of those 3D embroideries, or is that a flat
no,
embroidery?
It's 3D. So
okay, so it's not only is it big, but it
jumps out.
It jumps out.
You definitely know. That person must be a member of the PGA of Canada. For sure.
Or they bought a very big hat, a very big hat with a very big logo from somebody from the PGA of Canada.
Yeah, that's it. So anyways, what are we going on about today? We got lots going on.
Well, we kind of have a format here where we are going to kind of get caught up on some news. Now, getting caught up on the news is always going to be part of the front nine, but there's going to be a little less of the local stuff as we kind of wind down the next couple of weeks and all these local golf events stop happening because there's no place to play them. But we're going to do that in the front nine, obviously. Some of those topics I'm going to include a little bit of discussion about the PGA Tour Fall Series that's going on right now, and particularly how that is including Lexi Thompson.
Yeah, for sure.
So we will have a little chat about that because I know that is a bit of a topic right now. On the back nine, though, now we're getting into some stuff that really interests me. It all interests me.
Exactly why I threw it in there.
We talk about the Cabot-like success formula, and this is particularly revolving around a golf course's use of tools to market their facility and what they do to create success through marketing genius, we'll call it. But we're going to get into that on the back nine. And that's up my alley because anybody that knows anything about this guy, meaning me, knows that I am a marketing guy. And one of the biggest pet peeves I have is watching golf courses go through the motions without really doing anything to sustain themselves long-term through marketing, successful marketing objectives. So we are going to talk that, and because it is things that people see at tournaments, at golf courses when they go play them. So with that in mind, let's get to the front nine. Presented by Metcalf Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Golf season is here for now, but it is winding down. But you can still save on golf this year with the game packs. You can also get your memberships now for next year. So you might want to do that because sometimes there's some deals going on. Visit metcalfgolf.com to shop now for those great game packs and great membership deals.
And the colors are popping right now. And I know it's particularly at a course like Metcalf, which
it does pop over there.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to go out there and photograph a little bit in the fall time. So yeah, great time to get out there and see the colors and enjoy that before all the leaves fall on the ground and end up blowing across the street and onto Jeff's lawn.
Yeah, they can't get here from over there.
No,
I'm in the middle of a band of trees. I only wish there were more evergreen trees around me and less what do we call them? Leafy trees, deciduous trees. Yes. Learned that word deciduous when I was in grade school. This is not a biology
podcast, but we'll leave it at that. Coniferous and deciduous.
Coniferous and deciduous.
Words
Christmas trees and leafy trees. That's
words we never say or never thought we'd ever say in a podcast.
Exactly. So, useless information we learned in school that we're now using on a podcast as a form of educating people.
I guess it wasn't that useless.
Or complaining about crap.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever. Okay, so all right. First off, the OVGA, Ottawa Valley Golf Association, is seeking volunteers. This is kind of one of those times of the year. Season's winding down. Some volunteers are on their way out. They've fulfilled their commitment, or they're moving on to other things. And there's spots available on the board. There's spots available for volunteers. Now, some of those positions that they're currently looking to fill include tournament chair, women's tournament director, tournament administrative assistant, and a communications director. These are big positions because they all involve one key word in there, and that's tournaments. And that's what the OVGA does. That's the big thing that they do.
They ran 23 of them this year.
So having a tournament chair, a women's tournament director, an administrative assistant, and a communication, that's very important. And the communications director, there's got to be somebody out there that has a strong understanding of social media, has a fairly decent marketing knowledge base, that can get in there and help the OVGA continue building on what they have been trying to build on over the last bunch of years, on establishing more of a social media presence and establishing a strong marketing program.
Yeah, I think this is a good opportunity even then for someone who's a little bit younger who's just looking for something to pad their resume and get something in there. Maybe they've got some education on this, maybe some slight experience with some different other associations or businesses or whatever, but this is a good way to get into the sports media side of it as far as the comms. And I think we both know that these are pretty important. You've obviously served on the board for the OVGA. I was involved on the board with the Kingston District for Golf Association of Ontario. These associations need volunteers. They just don't run by themselves, and they're not in a position to, hire people full time to do it. And you know what? If you've been part of these association events, maybe it's time to kind of step up and do your part, and not just wonder why things happen or don't happen. They happen because there's people that give up their time and do things for the sake of the association, not just for themselves, but again, it's a good experience to go do it. But these associations need people to volunteer. So you can actually go to flagstick.com if you want. And we've got a post up there with the appropriate email addresses if you want to dig into that more, as well as a link to more details of those positions as well.
All right. We also have an outgoing CEO and an incoming interim CEO with the Superintendents Association, Canadian Golf Superintendents Association.
Yeah, Jeff Calderwood, obviously from the NGCOA, the CEO over there. He's been doing the dual role for 6 years now. And it's the end now of the contract for him as the CEO. And basically their board has looked at the transition of where they're going to go next. Catherine Wood, who's the COO of the Superintendents Association, she will become the interim CEO. Not so sure if she'll naturally go to that position. I think she probably should. She's been involved with the association for quite a long time. But yeah, it's the end of Jeff's era, and Catherine will take over for now, and we'll see what progresses from there. They have their big management association event coming up in the springtime, early in the spring. I think it's February. So I think by then they will have a permanent CEO in place, whether that's Catherine or they keep recruiting and put someone else in place.
Perfect. Now, the World Junior Girls Golf Championship is set to return to the National Capital Region in 2026, where the Royal Ottawa Golf Club is going to play host to the World Junior Girls Golf Championship in 2026. Great golf course to host a tournament like this on, sure. And a great facility all around for them to be able to practice and prepare the week of the event.
Yeah, Greg Richardson, who just took over there as the general manager, quite excited about that. Chris Ballmer, the president, very excited as well. I managed to. I was playing on Tuesday with the host chair from this year's event, which just completed at the Brampton Golf Club, and it's such a positive experience. And Kelly Miller from Brampton, she was telling me how great it was to, it was the biggest championship ever. They've had it since 2014, but they had the most number of athletes there. Canada actually won the Canada One team, won the team event, which is the first time they have. This event has just gotten bigger and bigger. I mean, fantastic players that have gone on to LPGA Tour success. Be it Brooke Henderson, Hannah Green, Yuka Sasso, Megan Kang, Maja Stark. They've all played in this championship. So Credit Valley is going to host next year. St. Catharines will host in 2025. So this Golf Canada has just laid this out. This is the three that will host. And the National Cup region has hosted 3 times already. The Marshes had it 2 times, and then Camelot had it as well. And Greg's experience, as the former GM over at Camelot, will certainly be helpful for this. And as you mentioned, amazing facility. The practice facility is likely one of the best, if not the best, in Canada. I think the players are just going to be blown away. These players coming in from all over the world, and people should realize they should go out and watch this. But there's also opportunities to get involved in other ways. They put on a great clinic for junior girls. I was involved with one of those back in 2017, I think it was. They also put on some coaching things as well. This year, they allowed a number of coaches to go out and shadow the teams, which was great for them to kind of get that experience. And I know locally, I think Allison Timlin went out there and she was part of that shadowing and that experience of going. Allison works out at Kevin Hames Golf Center. So yeah, this is just going to be great to have it back in the National Capital Region. This will be the first time when it's held in 2026, actually outside of Ontario. It was originally a project with Golf Ontario and Golf Canada. This will actually be the first time in 2026 that it's held barely. I was going to say barely outside Ontario.
I realize it is on the Quebec side of the Ottawa River, but I mean that's as close to being in Ontario as you can get around here anyway. But it is in Quebec, so
you got it.
At the Royal Ottawa.
Yep.
Cool. All right, that's great. It's good to have it back here. It's good for us when it's back here because it gives us,
for sure.
It obviously gives us another big event to be able to talk about. Leading up to it and during it and following it, so that's always a good thing.
You got it.
So here's the I'm not going to say the hottest topic in golf right now,
No,
because
it's
it
a
certainly
topic.
isn't, but it is a big topic in golf right now. There's lots of discussion, lots of banter, lots of opinion. But right now, the PGA Tour has the fall series, the fall FedEx Cup series going on,
Yep.
which essentially is a series of events that is set to allow players that are outside of the bubble for their tour, for retaining their tour card for next year, an opportunity to play events that will let them build position and get into that top 125, I think, right? So there are those that are safe. So anybody that obviously qualified for the FedEx Cup playoffs wouldn't be in that mix. Yep. They're already safe, regardless of whether they made it through to the second or the third or the whatever FedEx Cup event. Yep. So this is for those people. They're trying to get their card. They're grinding it out right to the end. It's a Tour Series event, obviously also designed to keep interest in the PGA Tour during a time of the year when normally there wouldn't be as much interest in a PGA Tour.
Yeah, and it's providing playing opportunities for their members, especially the ones that couldn't get into some of the other events.
Because there's something people don't understand. Just because you have a PGA Tour card does not mean that you're playing as many events as you want. There's priority, and then there's reshuffling and so on that allows you to get position into some of those events. So this is your opportunity where you're likely, if you're at the bottom of that list, fighting for your for the FedEx Cup top 125 or your PGA Tour card. Obviously, this is what you're doing for a bunch of weeks.
You got it. Which means these events generally are a little bit, we'll call them weaker. They don't get as much attention.
Yes.
And they obviously have to bat their head. And this is the reason why FedEx moved so early. So it didn't have to conflict with the most popular sport on American sports TV, football, where these events have to go up against football and now hockey, baseball, everything else that's going on.
And it's tough. I mean, the NHL season just started a couple of nights ago. The football season is already into 3 or 4 weeks. Basketball preseason is just finishing up, and they're going to start their regular season.
Right.
The WNBA is finishing up finals. Baseball is into the fall playoff series. So it's not easy for the PGA Tour to get airtime and get eyeballs.
Yeah,
which
is important with sponsors, of course.
Exactly. The events don't really showcase the top players in the world.
The stars.
So announcement comes out that Lexi Thompson, superstar on the LPGA Tour, obviously, Solheim Cup member, she was granted or given an exemption, invited to participate in this week's Shriners Children's Open on the PGA Tour. So the question is, now she's the 7th woman to play an event on the PGA Tour. Just so we make it clear, the first to do it was Babe Zaharis.
Who made a cut back in the day.
Annika
was the only one so far.
Annika Sorenstam did it at the Charles Schwab Challenge
2003.
Susie Whaley did it, who is is she still currently sorry, I'm
president of the PGA America?
She's still currently the president of the PGA. Okay.
She's not. She's a past president. Actually, I hosted a webinar with the GJAC with her earlier this year. So, but you're obviously very still active as far as a number of different things, and fantastic lady. So
Michelle Wee West. So she did it. And she also, Michelle Wee West was one of those ones that when she first came out as a female superstar golfer, the push was that she didn't want to play the LPGA. She was going to play on the PGA Tour. Well, clearly that didn't kind of go. And then she ended up with a very long and healthy LPGA Tour career that included a U.S. Open championship. Right?
So, and she's got the record. She played in 8 PGA Tour events. So.
Brittany Lincecum, which I actually until we started doing the research for this, I forgot that that Brittany Lincecum actually played in the Barbasol Championship, and Shirley Spork.
One
so we're going back to 1952 here, right? So and now
deep research here,
and now Lexi Thompson. So the question that we have is this a win or lose situation for her and her brand? Is it good publicity for the event? does it affect her reputation as a LPGA superstar if she does not play well, etc. Like things like that.
Yeah.
So let's start off, Scott. Just I'm going to ask you: is this good for the event? / is this good or bad for Lexi?
Okay, so let's start with good for the event. Would we be talking about the Shriners Children's
Nope.
Open otherwise? Exactly. So
Nope.
as far as the event is concerned, and it's like anything else from we'll call it from an exhibition standpoint. These are sponsors exemptions that they're given that are unrestricted, that they can give whoever they want, and we see it all the time. They give them to celebrities and all sorts of different people that may be known locally, just to get attention. In Canada, we've obviously seen, PGA Tour Canada events giving them to NHL players. So again, those players, no chance they'll ever make the cut in most cases. It's all about publicity, and that's really what it's for. So as far as it's good for this event, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more eyeballs on this event. We're recording this on Thursday. She'll be out and playing 4:00 local time, which will be later on tonight. More people will be probably watching that than they normally would, for sure. Just they want to see how it plays. As far as her reputation, I don't really think she cares at this point, because really, she's an established LPGA Tour player. Hasn't had the best year, but played well the last 2 weeks. She's coming off, I think, a 7th and a 5th. I think it's just her world that she wants to try it out, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. So there's always going to be critics. There's definitely going to be critics. There's people that obviously shoot out all the normal stuff, or whatever. Maybe they just don't understand how it works. And, oh, she's taking a spot, or she's not taking a spot. This is not a guaranteed spot for someone else that's down in the ranking. This is an unrestricted spot. So from my perspective, I think it's good publicity for the event. And I think for her, good on her. Give it a whirl. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to be mixed on this.
Sure.
First of all, is it good for the event? Yes. I mean, obviously, an event like this
easy.
at this time during the year, not going to be that many eyeballs on it from the standpoint of TV coverage. Those that are in attendance are going to go watch it just because it's there.
Right.
So they're going to get the attendance on site. They're now going to get more attendance because more people will be paying attention to Thursday and Friday. It's kind of like a little bit, with when the PGA Tour Canada had the event here at Eagle Creek this year, and Claude Giroux was
exactly
in the field.
Yeah, and that's what I was sort of referring to.
Did Claude Giroux expect to make the cut and contend?
No.
No. Did he hope maybe he make the cut? Sure, maybe he hoped he put a couple good rounds together and made the cut. But realistically, he probably knew he wasn't making the cut. Sure. Why did the event do it if they knew that this guy? Well, because it's Claude Giroux. He's an icon in the hockey world in Ottawa. He's a good golfer. It's not like he sucks.
Sure.
And he added a lot more potential eyeballs and traffic potentially. So good for the event, yes. Good for Lexi. I don't see how it's going to hurt her brand any, because she's already accomplished so much on the LPGA Tour as a
she's a major winner,
golf
11-time winner
icon. Yeah, so there's no issue how she's established herself as an LPGA superstar across the world, iconic female golfer. So I don't think it affects her brand any, or it's going to hurt anything. In fact, if anything, it probably adds to her brand and her exposure a little bit.
Yeah.
Where I think that there might be some gray area here is what it does to the reputation of the LPGA Tour and its players in general. And let me quantify that by saying, or qualify this by saying this. I think that LPGA, I'm all for. I love the LPGA. I watch LPGA Tour golf on TV when I can. I don't watch it over top of another event that might have more interest to me that's not an LPGA Tour event. But if I've got time and there's LPGA Tour golf on, I watch it. I think they're outstanding golfers. They're way better than I will ever be, and they're way better than 99% of the amateur male golfers out there that are good golfers will ever be.
But
I know
I know where you're going to go with this.
if Lexi Thompson goes out there, the superstar that she is on the LPGA Tour, and
Yeah.
she shoots 2 rounds in the 80s
Yeah.
in a weak field, weak course, weak conditioned
Mm,
PGA Tour event,
right.
what does that say about the skill level of an LPGA Tour golfer that isn't Lexi
Yeah.
Thompson? If
Yeah.
you're not Lexi Thompson and you're like barely making cuts on the LPGA, and she
Yeah.
goes out and does and basically craps the bed,
Mm-hmm.
which is entirely possible,
Mm-hmm.
and does nothing of
Mm-hmm.
any significance, then how does that reflect on the mid to lower end of the LPGA Tour? It looks like, okay, well, there's these women out there playing on the LPGA Tour, shooting, couple under par, missing cuts, and
Yeah.
making 100 grand a year, whatever, which they don't. But that's the impression,
Yeah.
because ignorance is bliss, right? I mean,
Right.
they don't know the whole story, but it does to me. You look back and go, okay, well, why would I watch a bunch of hacks playing on the LPGA Tour? They
Right.
can't even make the cut on the PGA Tour week event.
Yeah.
That's where I see the gray area.
Yeah, I guess that's the risk, is as far as diminishing the overall game and the quality of those players. Um, we see the difference here. I mean, we'll talk about it in the reference of a PGA club professional events.
Mm-hmm.
We saw, like Sarah Landry this year from Rivermead. Now, when the women come and play in the men's events, they've now equated it so that they can play 87% of the yardage, and that sort of equates everything. And then, she's competing. The
Mm-hmm.
different and the thing is that Lexi here is now, she's has to compete because PGA Tour is basically, we'll call it gender neutral. She is playing off the exact same tees. She's averaging 273 off the tee, which sounds great, but that means
Probably about
that
50 yards less than,
yeah, exactly. She would be almost the dead last on the tour. I think there's only one person that might be shorter. But yeah, you're right. That has the risk for diminishing the quality, and we know the quality of golf is unbelievable in the LPGA
It
Tour,
is.
and I think the uneducated would use that to judge against her. So right, that I think that's a publicity risk. That you're probably correct. I mean, so far, I mean, she's happy because she's able to hit driver on every hole, she said, as far as from a yardage wise. People that have played with her have been super impressed with her skill level and so forth. I don't think, I mean, we'll put an over under if you want. I don't think that she's going to shoot a bunch of 80s because I think this is an easy enough golf course that that's not going to happen. But I'm fearful of the person that's going to be the mad critic with all of a sudden it's 275s and misses the cut by 10, and then people are going, oh, see, they're terrible or whatever. So yeah, I
But
see
then
the
you
risk
have to
for
look
sure.
at that. If that did happen, then you have to look and say, okay, well, how many PGA Tour players in
Right,
the
are
field
behind
finished
her.
below her?
Right,
Then
exactly.
then
Yes,
how does that look to
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 them.
them?
Yeah,
It's like, oh, geez.
yeah,
So
and
that's
that,
why
and
I say
yeah,
there's
there's
that
two
good for the
sides.
event,
There's two
good for
sides. Yeah,
Lexi. I don't
yeah,
think Lexi has I think she's in a win-win situation.
yeah,
It's great publicity for her and her brand and her sponsors, which is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
It's great publicity for the PGA, for that PGA Tour event. There's
yeah.
no negative on the PGA Tour for doing it, because what do they got to lose?
Right.
But there is some gray area as it has affects the LPGA Tour and its players if she doesn't do well, and a little bit of eyeballs on those PGA
Yeah,
Tour players that don't finish ahead of her. Like,
yeah.
do you want to be in her? I could care less.
I
I
could
know
care less
she's better
either.
than me.
I mean,
But if
but
you're a
guys
PGA
are going to
Tour
have an
player
ego, right?
fighting for your card and getting up in the FedEx Cup standings,
Yeah,
and you don't make the cut, and she does,
yeah,
I mean, to me, it's not a male female thing. It's a golf versus golf thing, and that's why I like the fact that in this case, she plays the golf course exactly the same way that
yeah,
they play it,
yeah,
because
for
then it's
sure.
equal ground. They
Yeah,
can't come back and say, "Oh, she only
yes,
made the cut because she
exactly.
played it
Right,
80%
exactly. Yeah,
longer," whatever. Like that, you take that out of the equation. She is
yeah,
playing the same golf course under the
yeah,
same conditions at the same time as the men are playing it on the PGA Tour. And if she does well, then that
yeah.
means that she is in that same class of golfer. If
And
she
I'm,
plays it an easier golf course,
yeah,
then people start to throw
right,
more questions
right.
out there. So I
Yeah,
like the fact that they're doing it this way.
yeah. I'm, you know what? I'm 100% cheering in her corner that she does make the cut,
Absolutely.
just because it will bury a lot of the headlines or the chatter that you're going to naturally see on social media and so forth. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. And it 100% will not change my opinion one way or the other of what I think of Lexi Thompson as a golfer, whether she makes the cut, misses the cut, shoots 2 rounds in the 80s. I could care less. I know what she is.
Yeah.
And
but you know what? Here's one thing. I'm going to give her a lot of props here. It's a brave move. It's a brave move. Not everybody's going to put themselves in that situation where you're open to that much criticism, putting yourself in that situation that a lot of people would perceive it as almost a can't win. But she's willing to put herself out there, in also knowing that this is an important event for a local charity. She's got a cool golf bag made and she's got some stuff made, relative to the Shriners Hospital. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But it's brave on her to go out and do that, to face the kind of the music and maybe the criticism that could be out there, which, unfortunately can be very toxic on social media. But, in her corner, hopefully she makes it. And she's the second woman to make the cut on the PGA Tour after Babe Zaharias, who did it, I think 1948.
Does she have to wear long pants?
Oh, that's a good question.
Now,
actually.
I know Annika, when she played, she wore long pants.
Yeah.
For the rounds that she played. And I don't know if she had to, because the PGA Tour dress code, there's a no shorts dress code, right?
Correct.
But on the LPGA Tour, obviously they wear shorts and skirts, and she wears sleeveless shirts on the LPGA. Always wears sleeveless shirts on the LPGA Tour.
Right.
So does she have to wear a sleeved collared shirt or a sleeved shirt?
Well, I don't think the shirt matters on the PGA Tour, because obviously we've seen.
Well, she has to wear pants, but she has to wear
Tiger
long
and so
pants.
forth. But yeah, we'll see if she has to wear long pants. Yeah, I mean, practice rounds you can wear shorts or whatever. But good point. That'll be interesting to see for sure.
I am not just a pretty face, people, or a sexy voice.
We're gonna have to tune. We're gonna have to.
I'm neither.
Oh God, we're gonna have to tune in tonight to find that out.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
We got to take a break.
Yes, sir.
And I don't mind that, because it's a quick one. But when we come back from the break, we are going to talk about the Cabot success formula for golf courses and golf facilities. That right after this quick 30-second break. You are listening to the Flagstick Podcast with Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. Stay with us.
The Canadian Pro Shop Online has all the best gear for Canadian golfers. Amazing prices on all the top brands in one place. The latest drivers, irons, putters, and more. The Canadian Pro Shop Online is the best gear to help you play your best golf. Shop online today at CanadianProShopOnline.com.
We're back.
And we're back, lapping like a couple of children in school. We're back here at the Flagstick Podcast. I'm Jeff Potter. This guy's Scott McLeod. We had a great front nine. Talked about a lot of cool things. And I want to remind you that we do have a free Flagstick Digest newsletter that you can subscribe to at flagstick.com. News, information, and more direct to your inbox. A few more weeks and we'll be making that draw among our subscribers, current or new, for a Xander Schauffele autographed cap. You may have seen it on social media. You're about to see it again now. Look at that thing. The golf cap. With the Xander Schauffele autograph on it. That could be yours. Go to flagstick.com and subscribe.
Sorry for the audio there.
Scott's just going to figure out how to put his equipment back together there.
Easy.
So, Jesus.
Easy now.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Let's get to
okay. Let's get to the back nine, presented this week by Castleview Golf Club, only short 25-minute drive from Ottawa. This 18-hole layout is renowned for its superb conditions and unsurpassed service, making it a must-play in the capital region. 5, 10, and 20-round packages are available. Visit castleview.com for more information. Another great golf course to play in the fall.
Another one for colors. The trees pop there, too.
Yeah. So, pippity, pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
Pop. All right. Here we go. We're going to discuss the Cabot-like formula. We'll call it the Cabot-like formula. What is the Cabot-like formula? Scott, why don't you break out the marketing dictionary and tell our viewers and listeners what is the Cabot-like formula?
Well, obviously, I'm just back from Cabot, Cape Breton.
Yeah, you are.
If people are not familiar with it, they have the number 1 and number 2 golf courses in Canada. But
do they?
They do.
Okay.
as far as some rankings have them in there. But the cool part about Cabot and other top end facilities, and we've been to a number around the world, is that there's a lot of things that go into why they're successful, and marketing is part of it. Operations is a huge part of it, which obviously blends into their marketing side of it. And we could go on about, we can have 10 different podcasts about this. But we want to talk a little bit about, and I mean, obviously, like I said, I was just at Cabot Key Brighton. You were down there. We were down there a few years ago. You've been through kind of the experience. I think the big thing here is the takeaways and the lessons that other golf facilities can take from those places, whether they are, that level of golf course or not, that can help make them successful. So, we'll dig into a few different things. We don't have the time to do many. We could be running multiple seminars on that, but we'll talk a little bit about why those places become so successful, why they stand out, why they become aspirational, especially for people that haven't been there, and then also for people that have already been there and why they want to go back.
Okay, so let's start this off, Scott, with a little visual.
Sure.
For those that are watching on YouTube, those that aren't watching on YouTube, if you can see this through your audio podcast, good for you. You just recently got back from TPC Toronto. And and one of the things that golf courses do is they host tournaments.
Yeah.
Lots of them, if you're lucky. And if you're not lucky, you should be asking yourself what you're not doing to get more tournaments. But one of the things that happens at a lot of tournaments is what we call the boxed lunch. And it happens a lot where tournaments are shotgun starts and everybody's carts are all lined up, and it happens right around noon, sometimes 11 o'clock, sometimes there are 10 o'clock shotgun that goes through lunch, and you get a boxed lunch as part of your entry fee. And generally speaking, there's a bag of food, or there's a styrofoam box. Box container that has food in it, and you eat your food, and then you chuck your container in the recycling or the trash. Okay, so what's wrong with that picture? And how could you correct that picture?
You may have missed an opportunity.
Exactly. And what opportunity have you missed? Scott is going to show you what he got from TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley. That's a lunch pail. For those of you that can't see it, it's a standard children's metal lunch pail.
Scooby-Doo, Ninja
but
Turtles,
it doesn't have Scooby-Doo on it. So it's a lunch pail.
Yeah.
So that's what your boxed lunch came in.
Yeah.
And it's branded with the TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley logo on it, forever to be taken away from the golf course and maybe never used for a lunch again.
Yes.
But will be put on a shelf in most cases because of the fact that it's a commemorative type decorative thing. We all have these things kicking around our house, stuff from golf courses that we've played that has logos on it. If I showed you I don't have, there you go.
You got a Cabot putting cup.
Putting cup. Okay. So that we're going to start there because that's the most recent thing. But this is one simple thing that golf courses can do. Now, I can tell you right off the bat, having dealt with purchasing merchandise overseas numerous times. And the quality that you can get, those lunch pails probably, I'm going to say probably, logoed and shipped from Alibaba.com over to here were probably like maybe 75 cents to $1 a piece, maybe. And it might even be cheaper than that.
Yeah, depending on quantity.
So if you know you're going to use them for all your boxed lunches or all your tournaments throughout the year, you could probably order like 1,000 of these things or more.
Oh, more. Yeah.
And it probably will cost you next to nothing logoed.
Yeah.
You put your boxed lunch in it and you give it to all the participants. It's got a clasp on it, so it's not going to open up.
I mean, they have to pay
keep
for
it in a little compartment in the cart.
They have to pay for boxes or bags anyways.
Yeah. So how much are you paying for your little styrofoam containers that can end up in the landfill or in the recycling? Maybe a lot of them end up in the landfill. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's one simple thing, and it doesn't. I mean, but here's the part that scares people: it's the cost. Everybody looks at these things and they don't do the research, and maybe they didn't even think of the idea in the first place. But it's the cost of these things to think, oh well, I'm trying to compete
trying to get the cost of my tournament down to $45 or $55 a
Because they're
person.
trying to make their profit rate then rather than thinking about their future profit.
So if those lunch pails logoed cost you $1 a piece and you're charging $50 for a tournament, so you charge $51.
It's going to be way over that. But anyways,
$51
yeah,
is what you would charge instead of $50.
Yeah.
You make $1 per person less. Now, yes, on the grand scheme of things, over the course of the year, with all the tournaments you do, you might end up losing, $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 in revenue by not, absorbing the cost or just passing that dollar on. You don't lose anything, but it's a simple thing.
It's an investment. I mean, it's an investment for a number of reasons. I'll put it this way. One, while you're at that event, you've now given the person a souvenir of your facility. You've created a positive experience. And you have to remember, every time that you go to a golf course, every single thing that happens that is a positive experience adds to the equity that you have with that consumer for their thoughts about the place going on. As I have already, I've shown it to a number of people, right? So you're marketing to other people already because I'm showing that off. I'm not showing off the lunch bag. I'm not showing off a styrofoam container. I mean, they're gone already. And as you mentioned, it's going to be at my home. I'm going to look back at that with fond memories. It's going to remind me of having a good time there, and it's going to give me the desire to go back. So that money spent is in fact an investment in attracting the people to come back. And you're right. That's just a great example of, and we're using Cabot as an example. We're not just saying it's the only one, TPC Toronto obviously as well, but it's an example of things that you can do that are part of the experience that are marketing to make a difference in the experience and the willingness for people to come back and what they feel the value they got from being at your facility.
So the question that some people might say, or some people might have, is they say, okay, yeah. So Cabot, another thing we talked about is having putting cups in your rooms, like when you're on one of these Pinehurst vacations or Cabot vacations or whatever vacation it is, golf PEI, and you go into your hotel room and you get all situated and there's a putting cup with a logo in it on the floor that you can keep and take with you. So that's cool for a travel destination or a stay and play. That's a golf related stay and play. It's a cool little idea because what do you want people to do? You want them fooling around, playing little putting games.
They're golfers
in the hallway or in their room. That's what they do. And you got a little takeaway that they can drop in their living room with a whatever.
It shows you've thought about them.
Exactly. So the question that you're probably asking yourself is, okay, look, I'm a green fee golf course that charges $55, $65, $75 for a round of golf. I'm not a stay and play package. Okay, the lunchbox thing is a cool idea. I could try that. What can I do that's not an overly expensive thing to do that can provide somebody with a takeaway from my golf course that reminds them and everybody else around them that they've played my golf course and I've given them something a little extra for their money that somebody else might not do? And the one that always comes to mind for me is a bag tag. And it seems to me bag tags seem to have gone the way of the dodo here. I don't know.
No, I still see them in a lot of private
members,
clubs.
Members or private clubs, they have guest tags. But why can a green fee course not have a bag tag, pre-made bag tags? You can get these things done from lots of local places, but I guarantee you can get them done overseas too if you want to order them by the thousands. You can get them done a heck of a lot cheaper. And then you just custom print somebody's name, the guest that day, you put it in the little name bar, and you make sure you don't just give it to them.
No.
You make sure that your starter has the bag tags. Not the guy in the clubhouse. No. The pro shop. The starter has the bag tags, and the starter straps the bag tag onto the bag. Because here's the other thing. Most people don't remember to take them off if they don't want them on. They just leave them on. Okay. So then they stay on your bag for the better part of a whole season of golf.
Market your golf course.
Everybody else sees the bag tag that says, Falcon Ridge Golf Course guest. And it has your name and it has the cool little logo. And that's the other thing. Cool little logo. Dumb logo. Nobody wants it hanging around. I guarantee you 100%. If the logo looks stupid, I'm not buying a shirt. I'm not buying a hat. I'm not buying a t-shirt or anything with the logo on it because it's a stupid looking logo.
So
Yeah, so
better make sure the logo looks good.
yeah, let's get to the logo in a second because there's a lot of things that go into that. But I'll mention another item that's good. One of the problems, and here's the thing, golf courses can help solve their own problems. One problem they have all the time, especially if it's green fee traffic versus member traffic, members have a tendency to take care of their own golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tend to fix their ball marks. Guess a lot of maybe public players, maybe there's a percentage there. They don't have the same attachment to the facility. Maybe they don't look for them that hard. Something as simple as a pitch mark repair tool that's got your logo on it. People feel they're getting extra value from a gift standpoint. So don't try to sell them to that. You know, work it into your green fee pricing and gift it to them. So again, they feel the value, they have it in their hands. There's chances are they're going to fix a few more ball marks. So it actually helps you out a little bit because that's money and time that you'd be spending on your greens crew as it is. But again, it's a little touch that keeps them back. And I see them all the time. I mean, I've got dozens around the house where all of a sudden I dig into my pocket and I pull it out and I'm like, oh, I remember playing that golf course. Oh yeah, I forgot I played that. It was really good. Hey, I should go back there. So yeah, it's stuff like that. But as you said, as we get to the logos, and I'll use a quick sample and then I'll let you get to it because you do a lot of logos for golf courses. But I will tell you, I've been into one particular golf course. I've been to a couple that are the same example, but a golf course that you go in there and they complain. And I look at this because obviously we come back from a retail perspective as well. Mm-hmm. You know, we're involved in the golf retail perspective, but they wonder why they don't sell as much merchandise. Now, they're smart enough. They make sure they'll logo their merchandise so that people can't get that merchandise elsewhere. So if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it there. But they've retained a historic logo that wasn't very good in the first place. And they're not listening to people and they're not surveying them and going, why are you not buying stuff in the pro shop? And they say, well, I don't really like the logo, because they have a personal attachment to it and they feel they need to have it rather than going, okay, I need to have the logo that's going to sell my golf course. It's going to sell goods. It's going to be, and I'll let you get to it because I know it's very important as far as how the logos are created, so how they can be used and so forth. So why don't you explain a little bit about maybe what you do? And obviously Cabot's very distinctive. They've got their ship as far as the John Cabot ship. They've also got the Blue Lobster for over in the Cliffs course. Why don't you explain a little bit about the process and why it's important and what maybe changes it's done for golf courses that, you know, you've worked with?
Well, here's the thing. So when it comes to the logo, I mean, everything thinks you got to have some, it has to be some unique identifier of who you are. Right. So whether it's related to the name of the facility or whether it's an iconic symbol that represents the facility that has nothing to do with the name. So for example, Metcalf Golf Club had a logo for a very long time that was 2 oak trees. With a diamond shape around it. Very complex logo, extremely complex logo. So when you're embroidering on a shirt or a hat, something that complex with that many small little embroider stitches, they call them, and they come in what we call stitch counts. So a logo like that might be 20,000 stitches. And a simpler logo might only be 5,000 stitches. Well, the stitch count costs you money. That is really what it comes down to. However, even the logo was outdated. It was complex, very hard to see the words Metcalf in it. So it was really difficult to kind of, okay, what is that if it is on a shirt or a hat? So they did commission us a while back now, and I don't even remember the exact year that it was, but I believe it was in and around one of the anniversary dates that we modified the logo.
Right.
And we changed the logo to an oak leaf. And then with a scripted Metcalf Golf Club, Metcalf was very primary, Golf Club was very secondary. So what did we do there? Well, the iconic tree that is just outside the patio for the at the Metcalf Golf Course by the clubhouse. That tree is hundreds of years old, still standing. It's an oak tree. So we took an oak leaf.
But everybody who's been there has seen that tree.
Exactly.
And comments
everybody
on that
knows
tree.
They take pictures underneath that oak tree with the flower beds and stuff. It's just, it's right there off the patio and everything. So we used the oak leaf, created a simplified logo and highlighted the word Metcalf. That logo, when you look into go into their pro shop, you can now get a shirt that has that full logo on it. You can also get a shirt that just has the oak leaf on it.
And because you created that versatility as far as the logo, and you mentioned already, from an anniversary standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
you can sell special edition anniversary product that hasn't, has basically some extra things there that all of a sudden you can prompt your sales, because
Yeah.
it's like, this anniversary product is only here for this amount of time, whether that's a 20th, 25th, 50th, 100th for a golf course, that you can prompt and get more sales on top of your usual logo.
Yeah. Now we've done logos. I mean, I've done logos that are very complicated process logos that you're doing multiple designs going back and forth for weeks, trying to come up with something that your client ultimately really likes. And sometimes a logo can take no more than a day. Because you've hit on exactly what needs to be hit on, and the client, you give them a couple of variations of what you've created. They love exactly what you've created, and you don't really go back and forth very much. But there can be a complex or a simple process to it. The question that I have always put out there with every golf course is, would you buy the shirt?
Yes,
it's really what it comes down to. When I visit other golf courses, around the world, when I'm playing golf courses around the world, and I always like to take something home with me that has the logo on it.
Yeah.
If the logo sucks and I don't like it,
doesn't happen. I'm not.
Then I buy then I get the golf ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get the simplest thing that has a logo to say that I've been here. Might be a bag tag. I used to collect bag tags.
So your purchase price drops
what
down,
I buy from the pro shop
depends
on how visible what this thing looks like if I'm wearing it. If I really like the logo, I'm buying a hat, or I'm buying a shirt, or I'm buying a quarter zip, or a vest or something. Sometimes I'll buy a flag if they put the flag, the logo on the flag. Like it really, my purchase level, the spend goes up if I like the logo of the course that I'm playing at. So it's something to keep in mind from the standpoint of branding. Is your logo is like that iconic thing from your golf course that everybody can take away. The more opportunity you have to give somebody something that they can take away and display, whether it's on their bag, on their body, whatever it is, that's your opportunity to market constantly. It's just constant marketing. That doesn't mean you don't spend money marketing your facility from an advertising standpoint. That's important.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, that's another, and that we probably won't do that on a show, but from the standpoint of branding your facility and coming up with unique ideas, like, I mean, even something as simple as the flag that's on the golf course. Why don't you have your logo on your flag? Why do you have solid red flags on your golf course?
Exactly.
Makes no sense to me. It's a solid red flag, front, middle, back. Great.
Tee boxes.
Tee markers. Be unique with your tee markers too. Like your golf course is.
I just posted today on our, I don't know if it was on our TikTok. Anyways, but I posted just an icon of a logo that was on the putting cup sticks. I mean, it's just, there's all the opportunities for the reminders to cement your brand into people's brains.
There isn't a single piece of signage at your facility that should not have your logo on it. And I mean, if you have a sign that says keep off the grass, ground under repair, if you have a sign that says hole 2 this way, or whatever the case may be, it has to have your logo on it. And it may seem trivial to you, but it's not.
It's not.
Your logo needs to be on every single piece of visual that a golfer will have at your facility. It needs to be on the door going in the clubhouse in some fashion. It needs to be in the restaurant. It needs to be on tent cards on the dining tables in the restaurant. It needs to be in the pro shop. Every sign that you have in the pro shop saying this is on sale, here's the price of this, the hang tags on your clothing, all of it has to have your logo on it.
So at Cabot, for an example, they have, and I'll mention a couple of things that are in the room, and obviously it's not as relevant to public golf courses and so forth. But if you look at the chair that they have, so they have a plastic chair that they put with the table when where you're going to sit down, maybe do some work or whatever. It's got the logo on it, and we've seen that. If you look on our social media, I posted on it. The other side of it, that chair is clear. The reason that chair is clear is because in those rooms, all the rooms face the water, which again is an important thing, because that's what part of the reason why people are there, that adds value to it. These things are all thought out. They're engineered, right? Every little piece of it is engineered, but the logo is there, and the logo is on everything, because people want to take the logo home, and they've made it desirable by having the facility doing so many great things at the facility. And again, we'll do continual shows on some of the different aspects of what goes on in some of these operations to make people have an affinity for these places. But the logo's there, and man, yeah, I mean, there's people running into the pro shop to get stuff, running into the pro shop because the logo appeals to them. But if that logo wasn't any good at all, they would not be buying phone cases. They would not be buying hats. They would not be buying head covers. I mean, I get it. They're not always going to be back to those locations again, but the difference
somebody will be.
But the difference is when you're in that pro shop and people go in, they're like, "Ooh, that's a really cool logo." Even if they've never had a great experience at the golf course, if you've got a great piece of merchandise that is logoed properly because it's got a really appealing logo, people will go, "Oh, I want to have that on my golf bag, no matter where I'm going to go. I'm going to buy a head cover. I'm going to buy a putter cover, whatever the case may be." So, that's what these golf courses are engineering and thinking about. And the courses that just put it as secondary and they think of their revenue as only being just their green fee revenue. I mean, in a time when golf courses, especially the last couple of years, were filling their tee sheets, places need to look for growing the revenue and having different revenue streams. And part of the way to do that is in their merchandising, but in that recognition of their logo, so that automatically, as you said, when people start to look at, maybe it's your social media presence, maybe it's your marketing presence on, our website, for an example, instantly they should see the logo and affiliate it with your place. Yeah. If they don't, that's a problem. It's got to tell a story in a very small little piece of graphic,
Yeah, 100%. There are literally hundreds of things that you can do at your facility. Now, I think, we've kind of taken this part of the show and kind of directed the content at golf course operators, but there's a lot of direct boards of directors, members at facilities that maybe want to see something different at their club. You go to your managers, go to your board, go to your course owners and say that you heard this on the podcast. And here's the thing. We get paid to do this kind of stuff, when it comes to the actual work. But I've done lots of logos, lots of design work, lots of consulting for lots of golf courses throughout Eastern Ontario and beyond. I'm here. This is what I do. This is what I know. If you're not sure your facility and you want to engage some new ideas that maybe you haven't thought about, you want custom head covers to sell in your pro shop, or you want custom head covers to give away at a big tournament, it doesn't have to be as expensive as some of what you think. Like, and I don't like, I'm not trying to take business away from some of our, it wouldn't be our partners, but I'm not trying to take business away from some companies that sell custom head covers or bag tags, but it doesn't have to be as expensive as you think. Talk to me. I can show you how it might not be as expensive as you think. And I can work with you to create some ideas that are unique and different, that fall along this line,
I think it's shaping that, and that's really important this time of year for golf courses to really be thinking about shaping what their image is going to be. And especially now, as we go into more of a digital type economy, it's shaping what their appearance and look is. And we put up facilities like Cabot, and we can talk more about that in future shows, but Pinehurst, Bandon Dunes, I mean, some of these premium places, they're that not just because they're great golf courses. They're there for a lot of other things, and people would be shocked at what their revenue streams look like in their merchandising and so forth. But it's all thought out. This is not just, okay, I've got an idea, let's try it out. Put it through the experts that are actually doing that. I mean, you might be really great at running your golf facility, but you're not also maybe running around the world and seeing what's very successful out there and what are unique ideas that are actually attracting people, especially as the market changes. What you saw, 20 years ago is not maybe what's popular with the golfer that's out there today. And there's no need to guess when you have people that are involved in that aspect of it that you can ask.
Exactly. Solid back nine. We'll call that a well under par back nine, but a well over par conversation.
I think we have more to talk about that, especially with regards to details at facilities and maybe things that we see that are good. We've got lots of time over the winter time to have some shows regarding that. And if people have certain topics that they're interested in, like, reach out. I mean, maybe that's a case of maybe you've got a suggestion or you've got some questions about particular things, and it could become a topic for us. So
if you're listening
if you're watching or listening to us right now and you're at a golf course or you've been to a golf course on your travels that provided you something really cool or unique that you've never gotten anywhere else, share it with us.
Yeah,
Jump
for
on
sure.
social, take a picture of it, maybe share it on social, message us, exit to us.
Yeah. Send a post, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you like.
Exit or insta that to us.
I mean, these things are cool. I mean, this is the putting cup from Cabot that they have in the rooms, and yes, I got one because I think it's a cool thing that I will make use of.
Sure.
Right. And it's just neat. And I mean, it went from being something that was just in the room to, boy, I need to buy one of those. And it just happens to have the logo on it, but it's a neat product. So good on you, Ben Cowan-Dewar and Kendall and everybody at Cabot, Cape Breton.
There's lots of ways to make use of your, we'll call it your facility inventory, not necessarily pro shop inventory, but your facility inventory to brand your product. And provide people with a cool takeaway that makes them think about you all season long and even through the off season.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great touches.
Awesome. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, obviously Metcalf Golf Club, Castleview Golf Club, our presenting sponsor this week, Canadian Pro Shop Online, with amazing prices on all the latest brand name golf equipment, all in one convenient location online. It has never been easier to upgrade your game. Whether it's drivers, irons, putters, or whatever your golf game needs, the Canadian Pro Shop Online has the best gear to help you play your best golf. Shop online today at CanadianProShopOnline.com. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show this week and you continue to enjoy and hearing us and watching us. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. Subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you podcast us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, click the notification bell. Make sure you never miss a single episode. Get over to flagstick.com for more amazing golf content delivered every day and subscribe to the Flagstick Digest newsletter. As always, we do appreciate you tuning in to us. Until next week, I'm Jeff Potter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Always remember, go for the stick.